Hey there, everyone. I'm super excited to show you what I've got going on today. This is exciting stuff. It's all about our little Halloween appliques and how we can add them to our Forte basic tote bag. So I'm going to show you how to do these. All right, so what we need to do is we need to get our supplies together. I've printed out my 8.5 by 11. It's just like our pattern pieces. Yeah, my appliques by the pattern piece. Now, if you want to do like a cut file for your Cameo or your Cricut, I have those files as well. So you won't use this. You'll use the different files that are specific for your machines. But those are in the blog post. Links to that. You'll have access to all that fun stuff. So I'm not going to show you how to use these as cutting files, you know, as a heat transfer vinyl. I'm just going to show you how to do the sewn-on appliques. So what we need for today for this is we need our patterns, our appliques. Okay, it's 7 pages. You pick the page that you want. We've got bats in 2 sizes. We've got what we need for a jack-o'-lantern face. We've got a ghost with complete with eyes and a mouth. We've got a cat. And we've got some text here, trick or treat. Happy Halloween, and boo. All right, now you can see I've picked this funky font for this. For the cut files, I did not choose this font. I did a different font for the cut files because it needs some more clean lines. Still pretty cute. So if you're looking at this and you're looking at the cut file and you're saying they're different, I'm telling you that is correct. They are different, but you know, you can make whatever you want. It's just difficult to weed your vinyl when it's all jagged edges. So I changed it for that. Obviously, you're not going to cut out every little jagged edge. Let me get my pattern and I can show you. I already cut all these out once and I can show you how detailed I was or wasn't on the letters. Okay, so let me grab some of these letters. Here we go. These are the ones that I cut out. So you can see the O, like I just went around it. I didn't get all into this jagged area. I don't know if you can see it up there in the jagged area up here. I didn't do that. I just figured it out, right? I just did a basic shape is what I'm trying to say. So don't feel like you have to get into every nook and cranny there because you don't. All right, so, okay. So we have our appliques. Set those to the side. Additionally, we have felt, whatever color you want. I'm doing these for Halloween, obviously, and I have orange. My bags are orange, and so I did black felt for everything. But that doesn't mean you have to do black felt. You do what you want to do. I also have some fabric glue. You can use basting spray. Yeah, I've got this. I don't even know where I've had this forever. I had to like cut the tip down because it's been so long since I've used it. But it's really great to use if you're doing the letters because the letters are very fiddly. And I'm not going to lie, cutting them out is very tedious and fiddly. But it turns out really cute. But you need some fabric glue if that's what you prefer. You need some pins. Or you could use tape. So you could cut out your applique onto your felt and tape it on rather than to use glue or pins. I used glue and pins, which I am going to show you in just a second. So let me put some of my stuff away so you can see what I've done. So you can assemble this like it's an actual pattern, but every single one has a different page. So you just cut out the page or print the page of the image that you like. Okay, cut those out, and then you're going to cut out your felt, just like you do pattern pieces. So when do we add these appliques? Well, if you're adding a pocket, you're going to want to add that pocket to the pattern piece, the front or the back that will not have the applique on it. That way you're not confusing your stitches and it doesn't look messy on the outside. But you'll want to go ahead and do that first, right? Decide what you want to do on the pocket itself. If you're not putting a pocket in, like I am not putting a pocket in because it doesn't really need it for it to be a trick-or-treat bag. Plus, I'm doing an applique on the front and on the back. So I don't want to have extra stitch lines on my bag, if that makes sense. It just makes it look kind of muddied and not very good. So I'm not adding a pocket at all. So that's totally up to you if you want to add a pocket. Now you can add like one of the bats in a corner and then you can put the pocket down here You could totally do that, and you could do that at the same time. So you're going to do this at the beginning, okay? And then once we get our applique all done, we're going to skip to step 3 in the tutorial. But let's look at these appliques first. We've talked about when to add your applique. Now let's talk about where. Now, one of the things we have to remember, if you've made this pattern before, you'll need to note it. If you haven't, it's important that you know, is that the top of this in one of the steps is going to be folded to the wrong side 1 inch. So I'm going to mark a 1 inch line here. Okay. So that will be folded, so we will not have that. Additionally, this is going to be boxed corners, and so we have a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So I'm going to measure about a 1/2 inch above this top edge of the corner. So this is a 1/2 inch right here. So a 1/2 inch above this. And so we're not going to have that space accessible to us. So when we go to place them, we have to take that into consideration and place our artwork within those confines, right? So you're going to have this folded to the wrong side like this. Okay. Then you're going to have it's going to be hemmed and top stitched right here. Okay. So right here, you're going to have a top stitch. So you want to make sure that you have enough room for your artwork, right? Does that make sense? So you want to make sure your placement is okay. If you go up too far, that's not a huge deal, but you will you'll have to stitch over the top of that. You'll still be able to see it. It's going to be fine. If you go down too far, that's going to be a problem. You're not going to be able to see your full piece of art. You want to be right in the middle of that or somewhere in there. You've also got a 1/2 inch seam allowance on each side here. So you really want to keep it within that area. I hope that makes sense to you, and we can now move on to the tutorial. So I'm going to show you what I've done here. Now this is one bat. I actually cut it larger than the actual applique that I showed you there, just slightly larger. The only thing that I did was just cut it like I was giving it an extra seam allowance. And then I just pinned it on there with a couple of pins. So we have that one. Here's the trick or treat. Now this is the letters that I showed you, the tedious letters. So trick or treat. Oops, and my glue didn't stick. There we go. Trick or treat, happy Halloween, and boo. Now boo, the letters for boo, make sure you can all see those. Okay, these are bigger than some of these other ones. They were a little bit easier to pin. The Halloween was like a nightmare to pin because their letters are just small. So I put a little bit of glue. Let me show you what I did. I got my fabric glue. And since I know my T is not stuck because apparently I didn't put glue on that one. And I'm just going to put just a little dot of glue here. You could also use double-sided tape. That would work just fine too. And you don't need very much of it, just a little dot. And then you place it where you want it. And it didn't stick. There we go. There we go. Okay. And then you just stick it on there. You can let it dry, whatever. But double-sided tape, I know I have some of that too. Double-sided tape would work just fine as well. What I would do there is I would take my piece. I would just grab a chunk of my double-sided tape, a little bitty piece, and go across here. And this is 1/2 inch double-sided tape. They have 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. That would be a whole lot easier on these little things. Take your paper off. Place it where you want it. Okay. Additionally, you can just take a regular piece of Scotch tape and just pin it down. And then that'll come off. When you go to stitch it down, you'll just peel it off when you're done stitching it. It's easy. All right. So those are our letters. I highly suggest using some sort of glue on these small letters because they can be a serious pain in the butt. Okay. So there's that. Let's see here. What else do I have for us? All right, so we've got the black cat. That cut out really easily, and it's super cute. All right, we're going to go through sewing each and every one of these. We have our jack-o'-lantern face. And you can, draw whatever shape you want. It doesn't have to be my pattern. Okay, I've got my ghost. And I'll talk about that in just a second. And I've got my bats. I made 3 bats, 1 big, 2 small, and I just think it's super cute. I'm going to start with the bats here. All right, I have 3 bats and they're each pinned down. The cool thing about using felt is the edges don't fray, so you can really do whatever you want. You can just stitch it to the body and then you have free hanging wings, which is pretty cute. Or you can stitch it all the way around, or you can stitch the body and then just do a stitch here, a stitch line here, and a stitch line here, so that just the wings are a little bit free, but not a lot free. It's up to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do them maybe I'll do each different. All right. So I'll do this one where the wings, I just sew around the body and the head aspect of it and leave the wings open. This one I will go around the body, and then I will also do 1 line of stitching here and 1 line of stitching here, so the wings are semi-free. And this one I'll just go all the way around. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Let's go to our sewing machine. Okay, so for this one, I'm just going to go around the body of the bat. Okay, here's what we've got. So we have wings that flap. How cute is that? All right, for the next one, we're going to go around the body and then just a seam across this wing and a seam across this wing. Okay, so we've done the body. Now I'm going to go across this. Okay, so there's one side. Let's go across the other side. So here. Let's trim our threads. Okay, so we can see here we've still got a bit of a 3D action there, and it looks really cute. Now with this last one, we're just going to go all the way around it. Right, so there's that. Let's take a closer look. Here we go. We've got our bats all sewn on, and I tell you what, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the 3D look, but look how cute that looks all standing up. It just sticks out nicely, but it will also lay flat just fine. Super cute. Let's move on to our next one. Let's look at our cat here. This is really simple, but I'm just going to sew all the way around the perimeter of this. I could leave the tail, but I feel like it would get weak here. It might get ripped off if a kid is super active, so I'm not going to do that. All right, so I'm going to go all the way around the edges with this one. I'm going to do the same, going all the way around the edges with my jack-o'-lantern face. With my other bat, I'm going to do what I did with the large bat just a second ago, and I'm going to go around the body and then a seam here and a seam here. That gives us a 3D look, but also gives us a little more security. So let's go to our sewing machine and get those sewn up. Okay. How cute are these, right? Super, super cute. I love them. All right, let's set those to the side. Now we're going to move on to the bag backs. We got to do something a little bit different for the boo, or the ghost one. We have to do something a little bit different, so I'm going to leave that to the end. All right, so for our letters, I'm going to do the same thing with every single one of these. So I'm going to show you on boo, and then you're going to see that I do the same thing on every single one. I'm just literally going to sew a seam like 1, 2, 3, right in the middle. And one O, another O, and then a line straight down, and then a couple stitches across here. That's all I'm going to do. That's how I'm going to treat every single letter. All right, so let's sew our words on. We've got all of our letters sewn on. Again, I'm not going for fancy. Get my threads off here. I'm just going for cute. And so you've got some, you know, 3D-ness about them. And we'll press them to make them look a little bit better. But here we are. We're all attached. If you've missed any threads, cut those off now. Otherwise, we are ready to move on. We're on our last panel, and that is the ghost panel. Now, you can use felt for the ghost. Of course you can. I decided to use quilting cotton for this so I can show you how I would applique this on with quilting cotton. You're not going to sew it the same way that you would sew felt, right? Because quilting cotton frays. And you can even see here, I've got, like, I have this interface and I still have some, it's still trying to fray, right? And so I want it to not fray. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my thread to white, and then I'm going to use a zigzag stitch. It's going to be a short, I'm going to shorten the length of the stitch and the width of the stitch, and I'm going to overlap the raw edge here, and I'm going to go all the way around. Now, I'm going to be more careful with this one than I was with the felt, because I want all of these raw edges covered. And I can show you an example right here of what that looks like on a different project. I think I got this from Simple Life Pattern Company. This is a chicken applique, and you can see I've got at the very, very edge of every raw edge to connect it to my backing here. I have used a very skinny, very small zigzag stitch. So I'm hoping, let me see if I can get, that you can see those stitches, and I'll take a photo and do a close-up so that you can see what I mean. Now, I interfaced that applique as well. It just gives stability to the fabric because quilting cotton is thin and it wants to, like, move all over the place. And so you want some stability to add to, you want to add some stability. You can use SF101, you can use Sew Fuse, you can use something heavier. This here is Decor Bond. It was a scrap that I have. I absolutely loathe Decor Bond. Probably because I'm not using it right, but I had a scrap, so that's what I used. And so I'm going to go along here with white thread. Then I'm going to change my thread back to black, and I'm going to sew around my eyes and my mouth. Let's do it. How cute is our little ghost there? It's all attached, looking pretty fantastic. I'm very, very happy with it. Now that we have gotten all of our appliques where we want them, we can move on to step 3 of our tutorial where we will start to put the front and back right sides together. And you can refer to the video that I will link in the description box below to see how to finish this and also get your free pattern at rivetpatterns.com.